Hi ladies, today we're going to talk about three-dimensional figures. In particular, we are going to look at different kinds of prisms and different kinds of pyramids. These drawings look really nice. The drawings I'm about to show you will not look so nice, but just use your imagination with them. Thanks. The first thing we need to do when talking about prisms and pyramids is to just in general first talk about what a polyhedron is. A polyhedron is a solid with flat surfaces that are polygons. I know that sounds a little bit intricate, but think of a cube. That represents a polyhedron. So let's go ahead and just get that definition down. So a polyhedron. And remember, poly means many. Okay, so it's a solid with flat surfaces that are polygons. And a polygon has many sides, so a triangle, a square, a rectangle, a pentagon, a hexagon, these are all different kinds of polygons. So let's go ahead also and take a look at a cube and just identify different parts of the cube. That's what we're going to do today, is identify different shapes, different polyhedrons, and also discuss their faces, edges, and vertices, just so we can get a clearer idea of what it is we are looking at. Later on, we will go ahead and find, volume of these polyhedron and other things. So here is my cube. And I'm just going to go ahead and label its vertices, A, B, C. Okay, back here will be D. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then up here will be H. Okay. So with this specific polyhedron, we have what are called vertices. Like right here. Okay, that is one vertex. This cube has many vertices. I can count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this cube has 8 vertices. Also, we have what is called an edge. I can even use a different color here. So right here, that is referred to as an edge. There are many edges in this shape as well. I can count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 edges. And an edge is where two planes intersect in a line. That's the idea. Okay. A vertex is just where 3 or more planes intersect, and that's a point. We also have what are called faces. So face is a little bit harder to discuss, but it's basically right there. Whoop. So I just shaded it in, and that is called a face. So if you think of a die, because that's a cube, that has 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 faces, and that's a flat surface. And each face in this particular drawing is a square. It's supposed to be a square. Now let's go ahead and talk about prisms in particular. A prism is a polyhedron with 2 parallel congruent faces called bases that are polygons. So again, a lot of terminology here. Let's go ahead and get that down, and then we'll just break it down by looking at different examples. So it's a polyhedron with 2 parallels. That means they do not intersect. Congruent, which means they're the same. Faces, called bases, that are polygons. These are fun to draw. So let's go ahead and draw a rectangular prism. So it's a polyhedron with 2 parallel congruent faces called bases that are polygons. So in this particular case, the polygon I'll be working with is a rectangle. So I'm going to draw 2 rectangles that are hopefully pretty much the same. So you can just use your imagination and pretend that these are in fact the same. Okay. And then what can we do? Well, we can create our prism by connecting our vertices. Okay. And there we have a rectangular prism. Let's go ahead and draw a triangular prism, because we could do that too. So this time I'm going to have bases that are triangles, and again they're meant to be the same, and then I can connect them like so to create a triangular prism. So you just pick two faces that are the same in shape. It might be helpful if I just shade them in here. And that's how you name it as well. Okay, you look for those parallel, congruent bases, and they do have to be polygons. So I can do it with a rectangle, I can do it with a triangle. We can create a pentagonal prism. Let's see how I do this. So draw like a little house. It's not going to be, these aren't regular pentagons, that's okay. And then whoop. Whoop, that's a little bit off. Okay, so a couple of my lines there are a little bit funky, but you get the idea. My pentagonal prism. Okay, so I have two pentagons that are the same and they are connected. All of their vertices are connected. You'll notice that in prisms, when you connect the vertices, you get rectangular shapes. Okay, so here's a rectangular shape on top and on the side, on the bottom, and the other side. Same thing with the triangular prism. Here's a rectangle here. There's one on the other side and on the bottom. And with my pentagonal prism, I have quite a few rectangles on the bottom, on the side, on the top of the house, and then on the other side. Okay, so I just wanted to point those out to you. Pyramids are a little bit different. So let's take a look at a pyramid. The most common pyramids you're probably thinking of are square pyramids. That's when you just have one base. And you have one vertex up here. Okay. And that looks awful. It's a little bit tough to draw in here. There's one side, here's another side. There we go, this is slightly better. Okay, a square pyramid. And again, with the pyramids, you just have one base. So as with the prisms, you have two. With a pyramid, you have one. But pyramids are fun to draw. Paper and pencil is a little bit easier than what I'm using right now. So I could draw another pyramid, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a hexagonal pyramid. Here's my vertex. Okay. And that is a hexagonal pyramid. And when you look at the other faces besides the base, instead of rectangles and prisms, you get triangles. Lots of triangles. We also have cylinders and cones. So a cylinder, that's when you have two circles that are connected. Cones, think of like ice cream cones. There we go. Okay. And cylinders and cones all have bases that are circles. So here we have two circles and here we have one circle. So circle bases. Okay. Enough with my drawings. Let's go ahead and take a look at your practice sheets because those have much more beautiful drawings on them. And let's take a look at page 8, starting with number 1. We are going to practice identifying different parts of prisms and pyramids. So with number 1, the first thing it says is identify the figure and then name the bases, faces, edges, and vertices. Well, what type of figure is this? Well, the first thing you can do is take a look to see how many bases it has. It does not have two congruent parallel bases. It just has one base that looks to be maybe a square rectangle, and it has all of the vertices connect to just one vertex up top. So this is a form of pyramid, and we can go ahead and call this, I do believe that's meant to be a square, but if you're not sure, you can just say, a rectangular pyramid. We don't have any markings to show us that. And if we were to name the bases, well, in this case, just one base, we would name it using the vertices given. So we have the vertices K, L, M, N, and each of those vertices makes up that rectangular base. It does not matter which order you go in. You could write K, L, M, N, or L, M, N, K, or M, N, K, L, just as long as you go in order around the shape. So there's a base. Now we're going to list its faces. So when you take a look at its faces, these are the flat surfaces that make up the pyramid. We have that rectangle on the bottom, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So of the faces, I'm going to name them again just using their vertices. So K, L, M, N, and that gives me that rectangle or possible square. Okay. You don't have to list which shapes they are, but I think this is helpful just as we go through it. One of the triangles we have is KLP, so take a look for that one. So again, that's a triangle. Then we have LMP, which is another triangle. And then MNP, so I'm just going around. And this one's the hardest to see, NKP. And again, that's another triangle. And those faces make up this shape. And you always just want to make sure that you're counting, that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces. Do you have 5 things listed here? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, you do. Okay, how about the edges? There are many, many edges. Well, let's just start around the base. I like to take it one figure at a time. We have KL, that is one edge, and I'm going to put a line above it to show that that's an edge. Then I have LM. We have MN and NK. And now I'm going to focus on the edges of the triangular shapes. And some I've already now listed because I already listed KL. So the other 2 edges would be KP and LP. And then I have no, actually I have LP and LM already, so I'm going to have MP. And then I'm going to list NP. So I'm just going around the shape, and I've already listed KP. So let me just count up my edges again. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, 5, 6, 7, 8 on top. Do I have 8 listed here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. You just want to be careful that you're not listing a lot of duplicates. For vertices, this is probably the easiest. I'm just going to list each vertex that I happen to see. So I have the vertices on the bottom shape, K, L, M, N, and then I have the other vertex, P. Okay, and that's what we'll practice doing with many different kinds of shapes. We are also going to talk about what different cross sections of a polyhedron might look like. So what I'd like you to do right now is to go ahead and on page 8, please do number 2, number 5, and number 6. Okay, here are the solutions for 2, 5, and 6. Please note that with the rectangular prism, you could list any pair of parallel faces as the bases because they're all rectangles. So for example, I just did the top and the bottom, but any pair of parallel rectangles would work. With your faces, it's just important that you recognize that you've listed 6 of them. You should have 6 faces, and you can pause if you need to check your letters. And the edges, you should have 12 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, if you wrote CD instead of DC, it's the same thing. Here are the vertices, and with 5, the cross section would be a triangle, and in 6, it would be a rectangle. We will practice more in class, so I will see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.